Let me get it up. Dooby-doo. Yes, Lee, you are brilliant.
Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Fish. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Fish.
Wonderful.
Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish.
Yeah.
Let's talk about fish. Fish.
Oh, good morning, all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Where are we?
How are you guys?
If I can get my eyes under control, I'm great.
They look better, Mary.
I think the glasses have got them magnified because they're like two little slits.
Goodness, how are you all? Good morning,
We're doing great. We get in
Well,
live
good.
chat.
So the
Hi,
music,
Tisha.
thank God, finally got that worked out. Did something right anyway.
Yeah, that was
It worked.
great. Glad it's back to normal. What happened?
It was just I've got options on microphones and speakers, and I had selected the wrong one somehow. Or they got changed, whatever. But we're back now anyway, for as long as it lasts. Hello, everybody. Nice to be here. Cassie, Mary's got her mute on. There she is.
I'm texting.
we sent Mary off to see if the sound was good. So she was on the stream for a little while. Then we had to drag her back in. Lee, hello, hello. Nice to see you, Lee. We're going to do our best to keep you. And yes, it is true, actually. What Lee said is that he is the master bard, and he has indeed taught me everything I know, uh, which explains more about my ignorance than my intelligence, I think. Nevertheless, I owe a debt of gratitude to Surly and his joyous, rambunctious, and often marginal humor, for which I am eternally grateful. So, welcome, Surly. Happy to have you with us this morning. And if you're of a mind to join us uh, for whatever moments you choose to join us, you will be most very welcome. Which goes for anyone else for that matter. Anyone who has a story to tell, a fish tank to show us, or simply a word to be spoken in public, we welcome you to join us here with the admonition that if you don't meet my exacting standards, you'll be knocked overboard.
It's true.
Right.
You might get booted.
I've only done that.
That
I think you could come on though and speak in your native tongue, and we'd just be happy to listen.
oh yes.
We won't
That was
understand it, but we'll be happy to listen.
when I watched the replay yesterday.
Yeah, there
Sorry.
are numbers that could do that, aren't there?
Mm-hmm.
Any number of people could do that who are currently with us.
Absolutely.
And we would be none the wiser.
And I think Tisha is saying she's more talkative in her native language.
Well, Tisha's English is really excellent. Um, she if that's a second language, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, she said she can type it and understand it fine. It's just talking because she doesn't use it in her daily life.
I think that's just self-consciousness. She has the skill. Skill set's there. The language is there. She's got it. She just needs to develop more comfort level by using it.
Yeah.
I love to see her and Albert DeBoer talking to each other in the chat when they're talking in what is it that is it
Swedish Dutch, whatever
Swedish Dutch?
We don't know.
I don't know.
Against the Flow says fish tanks are a universal language.
Fish tanks are indeed a universal language. Ain't that the truth? That's really well done. Yeah, it really is true.
Alex.
I know. It's just. Are you reading Alex at 8:04?
Yeah.
I need to get out of this where I am and get to the.
That was Alex saying he might fall asleep this morning on us.
Yes.
Well,
but he's here.
You probably hadn't been to bed.
Night 2, he said, of no sleep.
Oh
my God. Oh, that's
well, he's here.
You probably hadn't been. Terrible. Dutch, she says. It's Dutch, she says.
Dutch. Or Dunlap says, my first language was Greek. We lived there until I was 5, and my nanny was Greek, and I lived with her. That's really cool.
Yeah. My daughter's first language was sign language. We worked in a center for deaf people, and when she was a baby, her nanny was a deaf woman.
Oh, cool T-shirt.
We taught her as an infant to sign. I remember one day I was walking in a mall, and just as we entered a store, I was holding her in my arms. She was about 1 year old, and she started screaming. And I looked at her, held her out, and looked at her, What in the world are you screaming about? And she took her two hands, her two fists, and she did this, which is the sign for shoe. And I looked, and her shoe was off her foot. And I looked back, and there it was. It had fallen off. So I went back and picked it up and brought it back. So at 1 year old, she was telling me she lost her shoe. But she
Oh,
couldn't say it. Her language, her verbal skills were not such that she could say it. Now, I've been
that's
watching some baby vids lately. I don't know why. What I did, I do. Who are talking at a very little age, like under 1 year old, under 6 months. And it's obviously intentional. There are words that some of them manage to say um, that are very clear, very precise. Other than "Mama, Dada, I love you" is one. I don't remember some others, but the little tiny babies, like 3, 4, 5 months old, saying words. They're not putting
hmm
sentences together, but they're saying words that are understandable.
Well, that's what they're saying, that babies, they do make like distinct sounds,
hmm
and they are
Right,
trying to say stuff. We just can't figure it out.
right,
that's
right.
that's
But
like our
they're
little.
usually repeating us, and that's how they're learning their sounds.
Yeah, speech is a very difficult skill to acquire. It takes years of practice on the part of a brain that is developing and focusing specifically on that task. Uh, I've known a lot of deaf people who could not speak, who as adults got cochlear implants and wound up throwing them away because it confused them so badly. They did not understand what sound was. They had no ability to assimilate it and to make sense of it, and speech was just not even a consideration. So they had the point is they had passed the time where that development skill uh, could be set in the brain. The child psychologist Piaget, if any of you know about Piaget, Piaget developed this system whereby certain skills develop at certain stages in a child's life, and if they miss that, then they are set back considerably. And again, I've seen that with deaf children who develop language um, later on at 6, 7, 8 years old, uh, prior to which they have no language, not even sign language. They have no language at all. And it takes a long time for them to catch up. And they really never do. There are always gaps. There are always, kind of barriers there. Whereas of a deaf parent, the deaf child of a deaf parent will develop language skills normally. So at a very early age, they're they're seeing their parents sign, they're signing with them at the age at which a child normally is speaking, and they develop language skills, the understanding of what language is, and are able to communicate it in a very normal way. Those children, as they get a little older, usually develop pretty good lip reading skills because they have language. They know what language is, and so it's for them. It's a matter of learning a second language rather than learning what language is altogether. I don't know what that's got to do with fish exactly. Lee could probably tell us because he's the one that communicates with his. Oh dear.
Okay.
Oh,
It's fish.
bless you.
Thank you. Oh,
Got it, Mary?
Yeah, Tisha was saying that. Where was that? I know you saw it too, Cassie. Says she talks Dutch and Frisian. Is that correct? And she never graduated into Germany or German. Otherwise, she could talk 4 different languages.
Wow.
wow.
hmm
Pretty
And
That she lived in a prison state / county.
Ward Dunlap said, "My father worked for Voice of America during the Cold War. And he's one that said, or Ward Dunlap said they spoke Greek, but is English and Irish and Cherokee mix. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I have some
Alex.
Cherokee in me. I'm
Oh,
supposedly
Holly
related
said
to like one of Geronimo's wives.
Holly said she had a foster child for 3 years who spoke in sign. She was a little person, one of my brightest life joys. Oh. Lee said his first words were, "Get me out of here."
Yeah, Alex said his first words were like, "Hello, kitty, milk,
Yep, milk.
want, give."
We're done like this. I
Yeah,
pretend to be deaf when my wife talks to me. That's
yeah.
not nice, darn word.
That's what Lee said. That was Lee.
That
But
was
Word,
oh,
Yeah.
Word,
he's talking to Word Dunlap.
Yes.
yeah.
My
And
apologies.
Word
My
at
apologies.
8:11.
We expect that from Lee.
We do, indeed. That's no surprise at all. It's also not true, actually.
I delay my answers on purpose. And then I get told I'm ignoring people. I'm like, I'm just thinking before I speak. You're supposed to.
It's always good to do that. It's always
I
good to
speak.
People
pause,
hate that
pause
though.
the moment before letting it roll off the tongue. Pause a moment. Make sure it's something you really want to stand on. Sometimes we have a tendency to to die on a hill of sand because we've spoken too soon. Let's see, Holly, my daughter's ex-boyfriend was deaf. My grandson was only a baby when they were together, and he's good in sign. He still stomps on the floor to get her attention. Yeah, that's right. I remember on Sunday afternoons we would go to the church for the deaf in Baltimore, where my father was the minister. Um, and it was eerie because there was never conversation, but you would hear the sliding of chairs, the dropping of things, the walking of feet, just all of the ambient noises that come from people being around each other, the rustle of clothing, the clapping of hands, maybe, but never a voice. It was that 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 sound or lack thereof is something that is you never experience in a crowd of people. It's just kind of remarkable.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like cleanup time in the classroom. Like all the voices are supposed to be off and everybody's supposed to put their toys away and stuff. That's what it reminds me of. I can
David
picture it.
Maxwell's that sent us $3. Thank you, David.
Yes, thank you, David.
There,
Hey, Patrick.
Samsel, very nice. Thank you, David. We'll put that toward the car repair bill.
There we go.
That's the one that really knocked me for a loop this week. I was pretty good till that hit.
It was Alex.
Now I'm playing catch up. What's Alex saying?
Alex is saying everyone says they have Cherokee. Most of the time it isn't actually Cherokee. But Cherokee was the largest civilized tribe. Now,
Yeah,
I was
Cherokees.
told that there's an actual connection though, like to Geronimo and his wives, one of his wives.
So that was the Dakota Cherokees rather than the
Well, they got moved. Remember, they all got
Carolina
moved to Florida.
Yeah, well, that became a totally different tribe. The Cherokees, a lot of the Cherokees stayed in the Carolinas because they agreed to assimilate their territory under the U.S. government. The Cherokees who went on the Trail of Tears were those who refused to do that, and they went to the
Yeah.
Dakotas to set up a nation, and wound up being being assimilated anyway.
Hmm.
But that's where the tribe really split. I had my best friend at high school married a full-blooded Cherokee woman from the Carolinas, uh, who he met at college with me. He came to my college for a year and loved it, had a great time. It really became a seminal part of his education because he met a professor there who became his mentor for life. I think he just retired teaching at Duke. I think he's at Duke at the seminary.
Tisha added some plants. She said she added limnophilia,
Oh, nice.
added some raspberry.
Duckweed.
Oh, and then a few hours after she added them, her rasbora started spawning.
Oh, look at that. He did a
Oh,
big
wow.
water change. Added sand and a big water change.
Oh, nice.
And then her reservoir. That's nice. That's great.
Well, I don't think she added sand. She just said she added limnophilia.
Yeah, at 8:16, she talked
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
about that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Paul C is asking a question about his stem plants.
T-Bone, yeah, still uses root taps and Secum Flourish liquid. Um, so long as you're not getting the algae bloom, you're probably going to be okay. The root tabs are fine. The liquid fertilizer puts substantial nutrition in the water column, which is something you might be aware of if you start running into a situation where you're getting a lot of algae growth. It's going to be a function of that liquid fertilizer.
My neighbor's up to no good.
What's that?
She's getting her pickup. She's getting picked up. I have a neighbor who has issues, and our neighbor down the road like sneaks by and picks her up. And,
Do we want to know?
no, I'm just watching it happen in front of my driveway, though. Oh, no, boy. Here she goes again.
We're Dunlap. My
Okay.
great-grandmother and
Well,
her
did we?
brothers resisted. The brothers were killed, shot down by soldiers. She survived and married an Irish rail worker. Amazing stuff, isn't it? Yeah, my family, both sides of my family, um, have ancestors that go all the way back to the settlers. So we were not immigrants on those on those lines of the family. We had, on my mother and my father's side, there were settlers. Um, there were lots of other immigrants that came in. Both of my grandmothers were immigrants from Germany, but my both of my grandfathers had great whatever it is grandfathers who were settlers from England who came to the Jamestown colony. Two different families, the Foxwells and the Parkses. They came to Jamestown at the same time. I don't know if it was on the same boat, but both in around the 1660s. And both families traveled north by punji boat up the Chesapeake Bay and settled, landed on a little tip of land on the eastern shore of Maryland, just outside Cambridge, just outside Church Creek, which is outside of Cambridge, outside of which is a little spit of land that they called World's End. And it was called that because it was uninhabitable. But they chose to inhabit it. It was a I've been back there to see it, and it's a mosquito-infested swamp of probably 1,000 acres. Pretty big size, a big piece of worthless land. No one lives there today. One of my family members owns it and has bought a lot of other property. He's decided to be a land mogul. So he's been buying property age now and owns tens of thousands of acres in that part of the Eastern Shore, none of which is worth much, but you know, things happen. There are a lot of stories about my family and their enterprises in the early years of Baltimore, around in the colonial age, and even beyond in the young states. There was, for example, a militia called the Foxwell Militia. That was a family militia in Cambridge, Maryland, that George Washington commissioned in the War of 1812 to come out and stand in protection of Washington, D.C. Um, they were commissioned for several months. Wasn't real long, but there's some plaques about that, whatnot. So the history of the country is deep in my bones. It is something I have enormous respect for and conviction about and commitment to. So when I see events as they're occurring now, it boils my blood. It literally boils my blood, and I can only wait and see, as our president has suggested we do, how all of this will work itself out. I do have faith. I have faith in the people of this great nation. I have faith in my God who oversees what's happening. And I have faith in the current leader of our country as a man of goodwill, a man of honor and integrity, a man of decency and honesty. Though there are those who disagree with all of those characterizations, I know them, in fact, to be true. So, my sermon for the day.
Patrick says my family started in Massachusetts and then moved to Maine, and that they still own the family homestead that was built in 1776.
Oh my. Wow. So
That's
that's,
pretty
yeah,
rare.
yeah. So they were all colonialists. My daughter lives in a home that was built in 1776 that was commissioned, taken over, I should say, by not, I don't know his name, the British general who was attacking Annapolis in the during the Revolution, and they found bullets and belt buckles and other things from that era on their land surrounding that home.
We do have a question. Paul was dying to know about his stem plants. He would like to know, Paul C. It was earlier. I was asking if anybody had any questions that they'd like to ask today, and he came forward.
So, what's the question?
He would like to know why his water wisteria dive from the base of the stem towards the top. They're planted in sand only and have been planted for a long time. They are planted deep in the sand. Soil is not used. But they're dying slowly, only in one tank. The other one is fine. He doesn't know why the one would be dying.
Well, I don't know either. Um, it's sand only tank. Don't know how deep the sand is. I would do a substantial water change. You might sit that water for a day or two before you do it, and then do about a 50% water change. Add an inch of sand.
Could they be planted too deep into the sand? He
It's
was saying they're
possible
planted deep.
if it's too shallow, then it could simply be rotting uh, and not breaking down properly. It may be that his sand bed is not deep enough, and so it cannot form an anaerobic layer, and so it simply become foul and is killing the plants because it's a foul under the sand, a foul environment. So
Mhm.
the solution to that, if that's the case, is to add an inch of sand, and we'll ring the sand bell for that one. Add an inch of sand, do a water change, and see if that improves matters. You also might pull that plant out. It does not need to be rooted to grow.
Yeah,
Um,
he said the floating, when it floats away, it continues to live floating.
okay, well that's a little more indication then that there's something going on in the substrate that's not healthy for plants.
Hmm.
Um, Probably the sand bed is either not deep enough or it is glutted, um, meaning that the malt is there probably is malm sitting on the top of it as well, which is an indication that the substrate is glutted, that it can't hold any more uh, decaying matter. So when that happens, the solution is simply to add sand to create an additional layer of substrate that will be able to assimilate. Excuse me, that mold. But my hunch is, it's since the plants are rotting out that it's the substrate that's foul, that is rotting, and it's rotting. It's what happens to something that like not a plant but any kind of animal life that lays on the ground. It rots. If it's buried down, uh, like if it's buried deep enough, it'll deteriorate in a different way. Um, it will actually break down as opposed to rotting. Well, you can call it the same thing, but it's really different. Anyway, try adding sand, pull the plant out, let it float, and do a little bit of a water change, just in case you've got a lot of proteins in there that are causing problems in the water. And it should clear up. It should be fine. Generally speaking, when there's a crisis in a tank, I had one yesterday. It was pretty simple. I had a tank that the filter needed to be changed. It was a big tank with a lot of fish in it at a high temperature, and fish started dying. The angel fish that had been beaten up by the silver dollars got moved into that tank and were dying off. And on my way out the door last night, I noticed there were half a dozen dead angels in it. So I pulled them all out, and the water was becoming cloudy. It was the dead matter was overcoming the ability of the uh, elements in the water, the microorganisms and the like, to overcome it. So it was beginning to crash, and I noticed that the filter was not working at all. It was just a light dribble. It was supposed to have been changed days before, and it didn't happen. So I went back and changed the filter. It's one of these big round ones, clear. I don't know what they're called. I need to look it up. They stand about that tall. They're not made anymore, but they're really excellent. They were used primarily for saltwater fish 25 years ago. Some of the best canisters that were ever made. External pump. They don't have an internal pump. Part of the reason they work well. In any case, you have to dump it out. And I was dumping it into a bucket and watching it go in, and it splashed up and completely covered me with muck. So I immediately went over to the bathroom and looked, and my whole face was, my face and hair and shoulders were covered in muck. So I stood there and did a sink shower, rinsing myself off. Went back and finished what I was doing, hooked it back up, got it running, went home, came in this morning, and the tank is cleared up, and everything in it's doing fine. I didn't lose some of the black rams I was afraid I might have lost, so that was helpful. But in any way, is that if you have a problem in your tank, do not take drastic action or dramatic action. Take action to be sure. You don't want that to continue, but try to discern the cause of the problem so that you can resolve that. In this case, the cause was two things. It was the dead material in the tank that needed to be removed, and it was the fact that the filter was not working. Now, why do I have a filter? I have a filter in that tank because it's a very heavily uh, stocked tank. There's a lot of animal life in it, and so it needs filtration, even though it has an 8-inch sandbed or a deep substrate and a lot of plants. I had just in the last 2 days sold most of the plants in that tank, so it lost the benefit very quickly of what all of the plants could have done to help mitigate that problem. So the plant life was down. That's interesting. I need to take this. This is my doctor calling.
All right.
Uh, Hi, Heather. How are you? I'm doing good, thank you. Yeah.
Bye, Leslie. Have a
What
good day. Thanks for listening.
I can't do it until after 10.
Canistio? All mosses look the same to me.
We can't do it online huh? Or a phone.
Can y'all hear that buzzing?
Oh really? Well. Oh, I didn't know that. She finally gave up. Huh?
Oh, T-Bone, I
know.
didn't.
I know. I know. She.
Mary, my son moved my rock in my jar aquarium. He told me last night,
Oh,
and I was like, what do you mean you moved the rock?
that means he
He
stuck
goes, my
his little
hands were
hand in
clean.
there.
I'm like, you didn't. He's like, I see you put your hands in your
Hey,
aquarium.
thirsty
I'm like,
rabbit.
that's different. I'm doing stuff and I know what I'm doing.
I see Thirsty Rabbit just
Lord.
came in. We haven't seen you in a day
All
or
right,
two.
let's put it down. You need to call me ahead.
I try not to talk
In
over
fact, if
other
you could
fish.
make a note to call me that day, that would be a big help. Okay. I sure will. I appreciate it.
Replanted the stem after a gravel vac.
I did, but I can do
James,
it.
other fish would ask you to add sand before you replant. Make sure you're planting into sand,
Oh, I can't
at
remember.
least.
It's the one up that Doctor. What is it called? What's the service? It's
What, Patrick?
north
What?
of you. I mean, east of you.
Are you reading about my neighbor? I feel bad even mentioning her. I shouldn't even talk about her.
Gulf Coast. Yes, thank you.
I try not to speak poorly of my neighbors.
Thank you. That'd be great. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Goodbye.
One day they might find out I'm on here and they'll listen.
I've been missing appointments with my kidney doctor for the last 6 months. So they're trying to nail me down to get in there. It's a consultation, so it's not like I really need to show up, and all they ever do is say, "Well, you're looking pretty good. Just keep doing what you're doing." I mean, this has been going on for years, but for whatever reason, I can't do it by phone. I got to go in and sit down in the office and sit in front of the doctor, and
Oh.
this, and she says to me, "Well, it looks pretty good. You've got one kidney, and the other one is at 35%, but it's improved a little bit. So come back when it drops to about 19, and then we'll have to do something." And I say, "Well, how long will that be?" And she say, "Well, it drops about 1 point a year, so in about 16 years." So I said, "All right, I'm going to probably hold off until I hit 100 then, and I'll be back then." So it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Did you say you're
Oh,
not coming back till you're 100?
right. Well, that's when I will. She says that's when I will need um, kidney therapy
Okay.
or to be on
Does she know what she's
dialysis.
talking to?
So, so I guess I'm all right for a while.
That's funny.
I know. All right. What is this? James Handy replanted the stems after gravel back.
I asked him what he did because he said the same thing happened to him with his stem plants, that they had brought it and floated away. And I was like, "Well, what'd you do?" And he said he gravel backed and replanted the plants and added, I guess, root tabs.
Yeah, there are people here who don't listen. They just don't pay attention.
Well, then he said something like, "Oops,"
Right.
after that.
All that. Uh,
I think that's what he did before he heard you today.
I see. All right. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the father system method of creating substrate, I point you to a number of videos at the top of my channel are about substrate for beginners. And I might add that substrate for beginners is exactly the same as substrate for the most experienced aquarists. So what we teach is a system that allows you to begin your hobby on the highest level possible. So do pay attention, check it out, set up a tank and try it. If you think it's stupid and you're holding your nose, try it. Try it with a new little tiny tank if you like. Put some
Ignore Lee. He's being tongue in cheek. Don't pay attention to him.
sand on the top, put some plants in, and watch it. You will be astounded at the difference between what happens in that tank and what happens in your gravel tank. Now, again, let me simply reiterate for the benefit of Lee and everyone else. This is not the only way to keep fish. But if you're having a problem, it is a way for you to be able to set up your tank so that you will not have problems. It is secure, it is safe, it is sure, it is dependable, it works effectively and successfully 100% of the time. People do not fail setting their tank up with a deep substrate, soil layer, sand cap. They do not. Try it and see for yourself. Who is this? Karuna Garin? Is that someone new? Karuna Garin,
That's somebody new.
believe
I was
so.
saying good morning.
Hello, hello. Karuna Garin, nice to see you. Is he an Indian perhaps? You have another Indian? We've got several among us.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, where's Rohan? I haven't seen Rohan.
You know, Rohan hadn't been around for a while. Is he still on the on
He
the
hasn't.
Facebook
That's
page.
true.
You know,
Hmm.
it's been a while.
It has.
Might be lurking.
Hey, Chubbs, nice to see you.
Oh, hey, Chubbs. I was
He's
figuring
called-
some people might come up and share their tanks today.
I left the RO on overnight.
And I usually come at night to give
I've
crickets.
cleaned it out about
Hello,
half.
Betsy.
Good morning.
Come say hello.
Oh, you know what? I usually, like I said, I come back with the crickets at night now.
And you
Good
did.
morning, Betsy.
ladies.
Hi,
How are
Betsy.
you?
How are you?
Good, and you?
We're
Doing
good.
well. You working hard this morning?
Speaking for both
Nope.
of us.
She said
Not working
nope.
hard.
How's the little bird doing that you're hand feeding?
Oh, it is so sweet. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. It's wonderful.
Oh,
Yeah, cute little
that's
baby.
so neat.
Yeah.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Okay, see you
All
guys.
right. Bye, Betsy.
Thanks,
Have a
Betsy.
great day.
You too.
And she's off.
I love her. She's so sweet.
I'm trying to talk her into doing like a 5-minute report on the animals every morning.
That would be really cool.
I know.
Have a little Betsy's Corner show and tell.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
It would.
I need to beat her into it. How do I use decapsulated brine shrimp versus regular cysts? This is Alexander Lee. I bought some, not sure how to use them. Use them in exactly the same way you use the regular cysts. The only difference is going to be that they will hatch a little bit earlier and there will be no shell. Now, make sure there are two different kinds of decapsulated brine shrimp. There is the dry decapsulated shrimp that you may feed as food. These will not hatch. You can put them in water and they will not hatch, but they will provide excellent food for your baby fish. The other type of decapsulated are in a liquid brine. They're wet. Those will hatch. You set them up just the way you do regular brine shrimp eggs. Um, you do a little cup plus gallon of salt, cup of salt per gallon, a cup of salt per gallon. And I like to add another tablespoon or two to that because the natural environment that they come out of is high in salinity. It's not so high that it prevents them from hatching, hence the brine that they're kept in as decapsulated shrimp. They're kept alive in it, but they do not hatch in it because the brine is too dense. So that's about 50. Uh, if you lower it down to about 30, 32, 35 along in there, they will hatch in 18 to 24 hours and may be fed immediately. In fact, you need to feed them immediately. If you cannot feed them right away, or if you have an excess, put them once they hatch, put them in the refrigerator. That will stop their metabolism. So they will not continue to develop and become essentially all shell and have limited food value. So there's that.
Let's see.
What else
Tisha
we
has
got
one
here?
Tisha has one at 8:45, but
I
Alexander
was just
Lee.
responding to Tisha.
Yeah, Alexander Lee said these are non-hatching dry shrimp.
Yeah, so you're not going to be able to hatch them out, but they are
Okay.
excellent food. I feed them to baby fish like baby angels, baby cichlids, the larger cichlids, any larger uh, baby fish when it hatches. Once they're up and out of the nest and are swimming about, severums, I don't know what kind of fish you have, you can feed them to baby crebensis, baby rams. All of those are fish that are big enough to be able to take the decapsulated brine shrimp eggs. Simply puts a very tiny amount a small amount in the water. Now, an excess, if you feed in excess, it will form a scum. As they deteriorate, they will form a scum. Take that scum out. Don't leave it in there because it'll create bacteria. But it's pretty easy to manage. It doesn't go all over into the water column. It stays together at the bottom. So you want to kind of feed that way. Don't stir all this up. Just pour it in. They're going to drop down to a location, and the babies will come to it and eat them. Those that are not eating in 24 hours or so will rot, um, and can be easily removed with the siphon, or even with the net if done delicately.
Nice. Yeah. Holly says I put 2 tablespoons of salt and 1 liter of water. Is that enough, Father Fish?
Probably not. Um, I would put more salt in. I would put upwards of half a cup in a liter, a third of a cup anyway.
Okay.
Try a third of a cup and then try it. You're going to have to experiment to see how it works with your water. Um, you might set up a couple little jars with different amounts of salt in each one and put some eggs in each and see which one hatches. So at the beginning, when you're setting this up for the first time to find out how it's going to work in your water, set up a series of 3 or 4 little jars or small containers, and add a slightly different amount of salt, a little more in each one, and then go back in 24 hours and see which one hatched. Make sure you note that so that in the future you can put that amount of salt into the water. That'll help you determine exactly what you need. It varies somewhat. I mean, it varies based on the water that people have. You know, you can use a rough estimate, which is what I do, but it doesn't always it's not always as effective. And the other thing is you find that in some cases a little more salt will give you a better hatch rate than a little less salt will. So to try to experiment with that for a while for the first few times, um, when you're just getting started, to see what's going to work best, and that'll teach you then what you need to do ongoing in order to be able to get a maximum hatching. Brine shrimp do not hatch. Brine shrimp eggs do not always hatch at the same rate. One of the benefits of the decapsulated hatching brine shrimp is that you get nearly 100% hatching. It's just really remarkable the hatching you do get with them. They are strong enough. What happens the longer the egg sits, a 2 year old or a 3 year old or a 4 year old egg, uh, the hatch rate will deteriorate year by year, and it'll go down like 10 to 20% a year. So you get 2 years down the line, and you're at about a 50% hatch rate. But if you decapsulate those eggs, it'll bring it back up. You'll be able to hit 75, 80% hatch rate. But again, experiment a little with the salt so you can determine what the optimal level is for your water to get the best hatch rate possible. What do you mean with those emojis? Lee is saying to Cassie. I was talking about Tisha's plans. What's wrong with you? Oh dear, projecting again he is. Once again, once again, putting his faults on someone else.
Yep.
Now you know better than that. You
Yep.
Lee is our scapegoat. He takes all the blame for everything. He's really wonderful that way.
He's trying to turn something in the take it somewhere I didn't want it to go.
I dare say.
I was talking to Tisha.
Holly's saying my brine eggs would never last a year. My fishies are piggies. Well, you can buy it by the how does you can buy it in larger quantities. You can buy the decapsulated dry by the pound, um, and that'll last you a year. I don't care what you feed. That's a lot of shrimp.
No, I was not caught passing notes. I was talking to Tisha.
I saw that. I saw that.
Lord, people.
Laurie, thank you for the Patreon post. Let me mention for a moment. Um, we have a Discord. More and more people are plugging into it and are enjoying it. It's an opportunity to be able to post pictures. You can even post video clips, and you can post audio clips as well. It's a way for members to be able to communicate with each other. Alex is on there, and we're trying to get some of Alex and perhaps James, some of the other guys who we are friendly with, to invite their members to join it as well as a little benefit for membership. It's an opportunity to be able to share with people on a 24/7 basis. The link will be posted here. Somebody will do it shortly. Um, if it's not, you can find it on my homepage under the community section. There are links there. As a member, if you will post on it, you'll be put in a waiting room, and then Thomas or Alex or I will certify you, and you'll be able to move on to onto the chat. Now, once you're on, create an icon for your phone or your computer for that matter, or both, and don't turn it off. Do not go offline. Stay online. It doesn't cost you anything. There's no expense for that, but it will allow you to be notified whenever there's a post on it. Uh, so it'll be an open 24/7 link to your fish fam friends. How cool is that?
Other fish, are you on there using it on a daily basis or at all?
I am on it using it. I'm not using it daily at present. Uh,
Okay.
it's just really starting to take hold. But yes, I'm on it. I see it. I look at it pretty much every day. I have not commented on it recently, but I will.
Mm.
Holly is enjoying it. Holly's all excited about the fact that she can post pictures on it, and that's really cool. I mean,
Yeah, that
that's
is.
more
Yeah.
than we can do here.
I think there's a learning curve for most of us.
In point of fact, we could do precisely what we are doing here on Discord. We could do exactly the same thing, have exactly the same kind of format. I don't know how to do that, but I know it. I know it can be done, and this won't happen. I've dropped off. My signal has dropped at least 3 times this morning for a second or two at a time. Um, and it may at some point drop completely. Fortunately, when my signal drops, Mary and Cassie are still on YouTube and they're still able to continue. I am not on YouTube, so I can't. I get lost in the shuffle. If I signed on to YouTube and we're we're doing this through YouTube rather than through StreamYard, then I would not be affected. But I also wouldn't be able to control anything on StreamYard, so it doesn't work for me to do that. I think eventually we will move to another platform, and I probably will move to another uh, um, a source of signal. I have a radio signal that's pretty limited, and it does drop off fairly routinely. Who is this saying, I visited your country, Aquatic Conquest?
He's talking with Tisha. He started asking her about her height again.
Oh, I see.
He's fascinated with her and her height.
Yeah, she's a tall girl.
At
I thought yesterday she responded and said she's 5'5".
Well, she's not that tall then. She seems taller than she is.
She gave us her height again today, but it was in meters, and I don't know how to convert that to feet in my head. But he's asking her, are all the tall people, where are the tallest people from? I would think China has a lot of tall people.
I don't know. They had a basketball player who was 8 foot tall.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
good chalupa, no tomatoes. A good wood rub, garlic.
Jeffrey Watts had a question
Yeah.
at 8:47, Father Fish. Or an
There's two
observation.
more, and there's two more at 8:54.
847. Who? Jeffrey.
Yeah, Jeffrey.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
More like an observation, I guess.
With cargo shell. Mated in the shell. Yeah. Sometimes you just need new homes. Sometimes homes get taken over and nobody else can use them. You always want to have more homes for fish than you have fish. You know, if you've got a dozen females, you want 15, 15 or more. If they're some kind of a shell dweller, 15 or more shells. So you always have an excess of shells. That way, they're not playing musical chairs with the shells.
And then Bates and Genetics had a question at 8:54.
Bit of an off question. Anywhere ever seen a fish where its head seems to be dented in on one side and pushed out on the other? I have a jack with that on the head. Weirdest thing. No, I don't think I've ever seen that. But there are any number of uh, disformations that can occur. Some of which are genetic. Some happen in the womb. Some things happen to baby fish that they carry with them then throughout their life. Um, so we do have disabled fish. There are disabled fish. I find that there are people who come into my shop who, when they see a disabled fish, are just thrilled and excited with it and want to get it. Mouth deformations are probably the most common. That and fin deformation, mouth deformation. Um, Fish born blind or born with one eye, any number of uh, deformations that don't seem to particularly affect the ability of the fish to live and thrive. And very often, those are really not genetic, they're injuries that occur very early on in the baby fish's life that they carry with them. That a bent tail is a fairly common one, where there's a twist or a bend in the tail. That often is a birth defect that's not genetic, that's caused in the process of being born or going through those earliest stages of development. So yeah, I know there are people who really enjoy uh, having disabled fish. It gives them a sense of, I think, of being supportive and helpful and nurturing. Um, Certainly, parents with disabled children develop a very special kind of relationship with their child that ennobles and encourages that child to do and be all they can be. in spite of their disability. So you don't have to put down the disabled fish. You really don't. It can have a perfectly healthy, happy life given just a modicum of care. Doesn't necessarily need to go overboard either. I mean, blindness is one of the most common or a common uh, problem with fish, and it's one they learn to overcome very easily. It may be that you need to keep that fish alone so it can feed properly. But very often you'll find a fish with one eye will keep that eye toward you, and you may not even know it is blind in one eye until suddenly you see the other side of it and realize it's only seeing you out of one side of its body. But they'll swim. They'll always do that. They'll keep the working eye to the front of the tank.
Hmm.
What else?
Bateson said I kind of made a disabled fish type tank in my house for all my rescues.
Oh, that's nice.
There was another one right there with that one, Father Fish, right below
Yeah.
that one at
Anton.
854.
What is discus flu or discus plague? I read about it in an aquarium file. It's stuff used years ago with my. I have no idea. It sounds like some designation that was given to a condition that occurred with wild caught discus when they to tank life. A lot of wild fish will not do well in captivity, and discus were chief among them. The early discus were enormously difficult to keep and developed all kinds of problems that generic terms were given to, and it sounds like these are just such terms. A flu would be a virus, a viral disease, and a fish would not be treatable. So that would, or a plague would similarly typically be some kind of virus. So what they're talking about is conditions that are difficult, if not impossible, to treat that somehow take over and destroy an animal or a whole population of them in captivity. And that certainly was the case early on. We've learned a lot more about water conditions and are able to secure these fish wild caught much better in captivity. The people who are collecting them are doing a better job. They're more aware of the fish's needs and of what's requisite to be able to keep them alive. Plus the fact that they're worth, a wild caught discus is worth so much money, it's really worth the time and effort on the part of the collector to do the best job they can to keep them alive. And that means learning the conditions that they're in and how to keep those conditions optimal. So I think a lot of it's that. Um, Discus don't get any more diseases than any other kind of fish does. So long as they're kept warm and the water is kept clean, they're going to be pretty healthy. It's rare, fish they will eventually die, and discus seem not to live for a long time in captivity. 5 years kind of maxes it out for most people who have them. They're breeders who are able to keep them alive longer. I had a friend, John Fisher, who was active in the Sarasota Gulf Coast Association Club for years. He's passed now, but he was a master at discus. But it was rather curious. He acquired a group of discus 25, 30 years ago. Um, they were They were relatively small discus. They were wild caught. He kept them and bred them, and then built a fish room around them. He never brought another fish into that population. So he never changed the genetics, but he kept that line going for at least 25 years. I met him late in the game when he was, 5 years or so before he passed. And he was still breeding the same fish. They were small, they were not big discus, and they lived 4 or 5 years. But it was very systematic. He fed brine shrimp. He hatched out the brine shrimp. Um, he would do routine water changes. It was all very organized. He had probably 25 breeding pairs going at a crack, so producing a very large number of fish. But most people found it very difficult to keep those fish. Um, he was doing it out of a love for doing it, and really not out of any attempt to create a market for them.
Rodney Smith was asking, can you feed boiled egg yolk to the fry?
You can. It's difficult to do. I would recommend if you're going to feed egg yolk, don't put a lump of egg yolk in. Put the egg yolk in a handkerchief and squeeze it. Put it in the tank and kind of shake it around a little bit. Squeeze it a bit so that you get only very tiny particles. And don't make it a lot. Make it a very little bit. The fish will be able to eat that easily. It'll be the right size for them. That'll work a lot better and will prevent you from overfeeding and from fouling the water. Biggest problem with feeding egg yolk is it's really easy to foul the water with it because you have a tendency to put a whole clump of it in, and that's more than the fish can possibly eat. So it rots and fouls the water. But if you use that handkerchief trick, just put the egg yolk or a chunk of it in a handkerchief, twist it around, twist it tight, shake it in the water, twist it while you're doing it, so you squeeze a little bit through the handkerchief, so only very tiny particles get in the water. That'll be edible, and don't do a lot of it. Do a little bit. You can do it a few times a day if you want, but try to make sure it's being eaten and that you're not overfeeding with it.
Right above that, Sister Lockmo wanted some help with her neon tetra, who has an abscess on its mouth.
A neon tetra with an abscess on its mouth. Oh well. Lee has kind of gave up the effort to try to cure his neons in his community tank, and he took what was left of them out and put them in a tank by themselves. Uh, the problem he has had with him has not been cured 100%, but he hasn't lost any more either. Um, I would suggest if you can take it out and dip it in a solution of water with um, a quart per gallon of what's a good one to use? Epsom salts. Put a tablespoon of Epsom salts in a gallon of water and dissolve it and dip the fish in that for 25-30 seconds or so and put it back in the tank. Um, that will uh, kill any bacteria that are on it. If it's a virus causing it, there's absolutely nothing you can do about that. Um, if that doesn't cure it, if it's an injury with bacteria, that'll kill the bacteria and make it possible for the injury to heal. If it does not, if it persists, you can try it again. If you then see it on a second fish, then you're in trouble. So what you might consider is taking the fish out. And this is what I prefer to do. Anything that's a little odd like that, I do not leave it in the tank. I take it out, and if it's very bad, far gone, I'll dispose of it. Otherwise, I'll put it in a hospital tank and either treat it or not, but keep it separate from the rest of the fish in case there's something that can be transferred to the other fish. That's the real danger and risk. You can get a fish that develops something like that. Now, not a tumor, that's different. Although I would remove a tumored fish just to be able to treat it separately. Generally speaking, it's a good policy when you see a single fish with a problem, whatever the problem is, remove the fish immediately and put it in a tank by itself. It may be that what it has cannot possibly be communicated to another fish, but very often you don't know that. And you can leave it in there, and suddenly there will be two, and then there will be four, and then there will be 10. And then you are in real serious trouble. You have to treat the tank, and that winds up killing your substrate and all of the bacterial life, and you wind up with a dead, crashed tank and a lot of dead fish. So it's a good idea when you have something that is anomalous, something that doesn't look quite normal on a fish, or something a fish is doing that's not normal. Remove the fish from your community tank and put it in a separate tank and observe it and treat it accordingly. You may find a way to be able to treat it. You may be able to return it to the community tank, but at least you will have, to the extent that you can, prevented other fish from developing the same problem. That's not a cure all, doesn't work 100% of the time. It may be that you're too late. In the case of ick, for example, taking one fish out with ick is not going to get rid of the ick because by the time you see it, the second population is there and more than one fish has it. You may only see it on one fish, but more than one fish has it. Fortunately, with ick, you can raise the temperature to 86 degrees, not hurt anything in the tank other than the ick, which will die. In 2 days, you can stop it dead in its tracks. We're really fortunate that way. The problem is if you let it go for upwards of a week, you will lose most of the fish in your tank. There will be no hope because it will have multiplied beyond the point of survival. There will be so many little um, bloodsuckers in there, vampires, sucking the blood out of the fish, that they won't be able to survive it. So that's something to be alert to. My eyes have gotten so bad that I don't see ick anymore. I have it pointed. I really don't. I had some geophagus with ick, and it had to be pointed out to me. I couldn't see it when it was
I don't
pointed
even
out.
see my fry anymore.
So having a pair of whoops, I just dropped it.
Here comes the microscope.
Well, having a pair of magnifying glasses.
Yeah.
These are really good. These really help. You can get them online. These are better
Yep.
than what's the other one? Got it here somewhere.
That's what is similar
The
to.
The
white
ones
one.
with a lens. These are better than the ones with a removable lens.
Yeah.
Um,
The ones with the lens are okay if you're doing something just right
really
on
good
that
stuff.
particular thing.
These you
But
can actually get,
right.
12 inches of range and still have it
On
magnified.
dirty paper.
So that makes it particularly helpful. And these help me. I try to wear them when I'm looking at my fish. I have
I
a
know
customer.
glasses that I should wear, but I don't wear them.
I have a customer who's about 90% blind, who keeps fish, and he does an extremely good job. He uses a magnifying glass, in order to be able to see the detail on his fish.
Hmm.
And he keeps discus, rams, some pretty tricky fish, chocolate gouramis and the like.
Yeah.
It does
Nicholas
quite
is,
well.
sorry, I thought you were done.
I'm done.
My bad. My bad.
I'm getting coffee.
He's so done he left.
Yeah, I'm done. Right.
He says, I'm out of here.
Really? What time is it?
It is 9:18.
Yeah, 9:18.
Oh, let's see. We got our music working. Would you like? Let's see if I can find this. To play. Well, that's odd. Let's see if I can. I want to. I want to.
Nicholas said I have better than 20/20 vision. I was just going to ask how old Nicholas is.
I did up until I was 40, literally. Like I had eagle eyes.
I do too. I can still see long distances with
Mhm.
perfect clarity without glasses.
Yeah.
But it's up close stuff that is a problem. I can't
I
read
had-
a book. I have a
They
hard
said
time
I had
reading a
the
book.
beginning of cataracts when I went in last time, and I think that's sometimes I don't know if it's allergies or if it's something with that. So I don't know what we're going to do about that one. But they've already started, and that kind of has me a little bummed.
Chubb says it's music time.
Yeah, it's music time.
Either that or it's time to go.
I love this
almost
song.
39
Oh, yeah.
for Nicholas.
That's where I'm at.
A night.
Oh, good, we can hear it this time. Uh-oh.
What a night. What a night. My fish are mad at me. I didn't want to feed them all tonight. I found it hard to say. They thought I'd had enough of them. Why can't they see? They're lovely to me. But I have to sit here and watch them play on my own every now and then. My snails are mad at me. Been sitting on my arse for an hour. I hardly said a word. I tried and tried, but I could not be heard. Why can't I explain? Why do I feel this way? 'Cause everything I say, they don't understand, they don't realise, they take it all the wrong way. My frogs are mad at me. We argued just the other night. I thought we talked it out. We talked and talked until it was out. I thought we'd agreed. I thought they'd understand. But when I try to talk, they say I don't care. They say I'm unaware, and then they say I'm weak. Sucks to be me. I'm only doing my best for them.
Poorly.
I didn't get all
We
that.
love it, Lee. That was great.
That is wonderful. He's this is an old song. He shared with me where it was from. It's he's doing he's doing rewrites of old popular old songs, and it had to do with it was called "My Girlfriend's Mad at Me." It's a song that came out 10, 15 years ago. So it's a takeoff on that. Really wonderful stuff. Just wonderful. The amazingly creative and cleverly done. Just beautifully performed. Absolutely love it. The man is a genius.
There was a launch last night, Father Fish.
Pardon?
There was a launch last night, a nighttime.
Oh, how not? Oh, that's right. There was. There was a live. It was live, wasn't it? I mean, there were people in it.
Yeah, there were astronauts. There were 4 astronauts going up this time. So it attracted a big crowd.
Did they go to the station or simply do a roundabout?
I'm not sure. I'll have to ask. We went and tried to watch, and there was a lot of cars, and we had to park right next to the railroad track.
Nice. Yeah, I think they went to this. I didn't read the articles about it. I did see a little bit about it beforehand.
It was a nice launch to watch because of the nighttime viewing. It looks super bright at night. But unless you have like one of those really good cameras, there's no way to really capture it good. They are docking with ISS. Of course, Lee would know.
Right. What is Lori talking about? Gil the Goldfish. Oh, trying to reach 100 subscribers. Yeah, make sure, guys, that you subscribe to Gil the Goldfish. Laurie has posted the link. Thank you, Laurie.
Yes, please do.
You are a blessing, Laurie. Certainly do appreciate
Yes, she is.
your fine efforts. That's so vital for us to have someone who is as focused in on dropping links as you are. Just really a big help.
One Dirty Platy wants to know, is it necessary to
Right.
aerate?
I'm looking at it. For labyrinths, well, you don't need to aerate for the sake of the labyrinth. You may need to for other reasons. Obviously, the labyrinth fish typically are fish that live in very low oxygen level water. It may be muddy, it may be shallow, it may be very highly organic. Look at this. We're looking at puppies here. Always distracted by puppies. They are distracting. So it's not that you need to aerate for the labyrinth. It's that you may need to aerate to there may be other fish, and you may have a lot of other fish that really need a lot of water movement. Aeration is nothing more than water movement. That's all it does. It moves water, and that when it moves water that's on the bottom or in the middle or wherever it is coming in contact with the surface. When it comes in contact with the surface, the CO2 that's in it is released, and oxygen is immediately dissolved into it. So as the water moves to the surface, you have that gas exchange occurring, and it moves on. So it's a continual process of gas exchange going on. If you do not have moving water, the CO2 will rise, creating a current, albeit a very gentle, extremely gentle, almost unnoticeable current, but one nonetheless. And when it reaches the surface, it'll dissolve, and that will create a space, if you will, for oxygen to be dissolved into the to be taken into the water. So circulation is the goal or the purpose of aeration. Aeration does not, technically speaking, does not put air in the water. It rather moves the water so that a natural a gas exchange can occur at the surface.
Their eyes should be.
Now, it's true that the air bubbles that are created are, in effect, creating surface. So, some exchange does occur there. But the primary exchange is occurring at the surface of the water. So, that's kind of a long explanation of a very simple question, and probably is not adequate, but nevertheless.
He started.
One dirty platy. So, what else do you
Oh,
have to think? One dirty platy. Oh, they're docking with this station, Lee said.
Mary, you made me do it.
her sleeping
Sound
kitty.
asleep.
Look at that. All the girls.
Sorry.
Yes, let's do that all in tanks.
Yeah, I'm going to wind up getting a cat. I can see it coming. I'd rather have a dog. I really would rather have a dog. But
No.
I would have to bring the dog in here every day, which would be problematic. I mean, I guess I could figure out how to do it. I've not had an indoor dog actually ever in my life. I've
Oh,
always had outdoor dogs.
you should
So I'm
go
not-
to the Humane Society.
Well, I'm not. The issue is I'm not used to taking a dog out for walks.
Right.
You know, I've never had a dog that lived in the house.
Well, if you get a little dog, you can kind of train them to go just in your front yard or backyard and real quick and come back in.
Yeah, my problem here at the shop is that I don't have either a front yard or a backyard. I've got a concrete
Yes,
slab
Nicholas.
surrounding me, so it's kind of
So
problematic.
pretty.
Torture.
I would have to create a place for it to go.
My bad cat is outside of
Yeah.
the bedroom. I
That's my-
kind of locked her out. She was attacking me.
He sleeps right there every morning with me.
Nicholas Grohl, my cat Puff. That's a great name for a cat.
It is.
Puff loves staring at my new zebra danios in my quarantine on the floor. He sits there for half an hour. Yeah, zebra danios are such a neat little fish.
They
That-
love it.
That's what glowfish are. Glowfish are zebra danios, and the reason the laboratory that developed them did so is because they were very easy to breed. Look at that. Look at that.
No.
That was him yesterday. I posted that to my Instagram. He likes to sleep behind my 20 gallon in the window seat.
Tisha's saying when I'm watching the stream, my cat's always sleeping.
Yeah.
Afternoon is her nap time.
Oh, afternoon. My cat's like morning, afternoon, as long as it's not feeding time.
Fortier has something to do about dogs. Something to say about dogs. Oh, well.
I feel like cats you can leave alone, you know,
Well,
where
exactly.
dogs, it's harder. You can't leave dogs alone if you go for a day,
Right.
unless you take them with you. And then if you take them with you, a smaller dog is easy to travel with.
Lee, you need a Jack Russell Terrier.
Yeah, Lee's talking about getting a dog. Yeah, when
I
you
raised Jack Russells. You'd have the perfect. You would love it. Small enough to be little, and it's got grit. And
I hear that is like the one dog that like it became popular on Frasier. Do you remember? that show?
Yes, that's when I raised Jack Russells. Had quite a business going until there got
Yeah.
so many of them out there.
I heard that was like a really
And
bad
then
dog
Wishbone, the little dog for the children's reading book, Wishbone, that was another one.
Yeah, I think once I reach the point where I'm not in this shop anymore, I'll probably get a dog.
Morgan says, I want them all.
Right.
You're going to get one, Morgan, I promise. We just don't know which one yet. The whole family has begged. I think we have them all placed.
Is that right?
But each of my children get one, and then a couple of cousins, and there's a neighbor or two that loves the mama dog. So
Oh,
we might have to have an auction. I'm just kidding.
Father Fish, I have a question on my banana plant. Well, I guess a little update. The leaves like completely melted away, but there's like a couple of roots out, and I tried to stick them down into the sand, just like the tips of those bananas. Will it grow leaves back, or
so long as the growing tip is still alive, that growing tip can die, and if it dies, it's done. But as long as you've got a growing tip where the leaves come out, then yeah, it is still surviving if that's the case.
okay? I hope so. How
Doing what
far
you
in do you
did,
have to plant them?
how what? How far?
Yeah, how far down should I plant the bananas?
Just deep enough to hold them in the sand.
Okay.
Halfway max. You don't want to put the whole thing in.
Nicholas is asking me about cat species.
What is Bateson talking about at
I think I see an
9:21?
eye opening.
At what time?
9:21.
Hmm.
He said talking to Chalupa says it makes the water cloudy for a month or so.
Oh, he was mentioning he'd got that, what Aquarium Co-op uses,
Yeah.
the mycin. Was that the name?
Oh, the medication?
Yeah. And he said it like crashed his water, and T-Bone was asking, I guess, how did he know it was crashed? What did it do? Or Chalupa did. So he was responding to him saying the water got cloudy for a month, and then he was talking about how his plants reacted.
Yeah, the problem
Marison.
with any kind of
It was Marison.
what are you talking about, Mary?
It was Marison is the medicine that they use.
Oh, okay, thank you. Antibacterial medications, I only use them in extreme circumstances where I have a tank that is so badly infested with disease or sickness that I'm under the gun of losing everything. So in the most extreme circumstances, I will treat a community tank. Barring that, I try to remove affected fish and treat them separately. I like to use medication topically whenever I can. If there is a fungal growth on a fish that is evidence of a bacterial infection, I would prefer to treat that fish topically rather than put medication in the water. Putting medication in the water treats everything, which includes a lot of things that ought not be treated. And that's typically what happens when you put an agent like that in a living environment. You wind up killing most of the microbial life that's in that environment, and thereby crashing the tank. I know that Corey is not concerned about microbial life in his tanks. He does gravel and filters and cleans and strains. He tries to maintain a relatively sterile environment. So if that's the way you're keeping fish, then by all means, go ahead and sterilize the water.
Well, I also think he recommends that for the quarantine tanks. Like if you were going to do it, do that in a quarantine tank.
Well,
not
that's
your main
absolutely
tank.
fine. That's right. And that's perfectly appropriate. But it's really dangerous to put it in a community tank because it's gonna create it's gonna have an effect that will not necessarily be very desirable. Now, the one thing I have found that can be used in a community in moderate in moderation is sulfa drugs, triple sulfa, particularly. I use that occasionally when I have very serious problems and I'm losing a lot of fish to simply stop whatever it is that's going on. I put it in, it knocks it out instantly. I'm able to do water change the next day and go on from there without huge loss to my substrate.
Hmm.
Canine Koa.
I don't know.
I don't know
I
either.
guess if Lee gets a dog, he can start his own channel and call it Canine Co-op.
Right. Quarantine is a plastic tub with no plants, Calupa says. That's perfect. Ideal. Doesn't matter what it is, any kind of container at all. And preferably a bare bottom tank. That allows you to do water changes easily without having to worry about a substrate.
Hey, Father Fish. Sam Dam just got finished collecting some fish and wants to know if they can come up and show us real quick.
Absolutely. Yeah, I see he's acclimating them now. Having river water, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, please. Let me
Yeah,
put
they call. Let's see, what was it? It was mountain. Just came in from a mountain river. Got some. I could never say that. Schistera loaches and
oh how
garas.
nice. Where
I forget where Sam Dam is. No, wait.
yeah, come on
But
up,
somewhere.
Sam Dam. I just posted the link. This was
Okay.
great fun. An old dog for an old dog. There you go. That'll cover that.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Sam Dam located? We don't know.
Said the other day, and I want to say in. I want to say in like Rohan, but I'm probably totally wrong there.
I don't know. Yeah, come join us, Sam.
Here he is. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
How's
Nice to see
how
you.
is everyone?
Wonderful
Hey,
to have
Sam.
you with us.
I just have to see how I can switch the camera to the front camera.
No problem.
Where are you
Okay.
located, Sam?
I'm in India for the fish.
Oh
It's
my.
the one. It's the one that says Cam Mike in the middle, Sam. There's
I
like
saw
Mike,
it.
Cam, and Cam Matt. Yeah,
Yep.
the little settings one.
Freezing front.
There
Oh,
you
there.
go. Oh wow!
Very nice.
Look at that. What kind of catfish was that?
Chulu.
That's a Cynodontis catfish.
Oh, beautiful.
Nice. Very nice.
Oh, how
He's a
beautiful!
beauty.
Look. Oh, he is.
I think we just lost.
Oh no! Come back. Oh no, there he
Here
is.
we go. We got
Look
him.
at the angels. They are beautiful.
Very pretty.
Look at that nice substrate.
Look at that. Yeah, I was just looking at that. Yeah. It's a beautiful substrate.
This is the
Is that
Very
substrate for the fish. This is
wow?
this is
Is
from
that
you.
sand? Yeah,
That's
where'd you
sand.
get the
That's
sand?
river sand.
Oh, I love
I
it.
sieved the
Actual
sand.
river sand.
That's
It's
actual river
beautiful.
sand. These are
Nice.
the ones that are
Nice.
going in. If I can manage to let you see.
Yes. Now you caught these.
Yeah, I didn't have a net, so I used some cloth and something. That's it. I caught them with my hands.
Oh my, good for you.
Huh. Wow.
I was
That is
not
so
prepared,
cool.
How neat.
so let them loose. So these are my favorite fish. These are called Sistura loaches. So these are the most amazing fish that you can see. They play along all day long.
Oh,
And here they go. Free.
oh, Sam, I'm so glad you came up. This is amazing.
The small one is a Gara. It's a Gara loach. So
Okay.
you guys have like panda Garas over there?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Gara.
The- yeah,
Gara Panda.
Gara.
Hi,
Yeah,
Tisha.
Gara panda. So this is like golden Gara or something.
Oh, how nice. Yeah, the Gara will climb out of your tank. It'll actually climb up the side of the glass.
Mm.
Panda Gara, wonderful fish. They don't get real big either. They stay small. I
These
love
are all hiding.
I love your substrate. That's really wonderful.
This is all you, Father Fish. This is
Oh, thank
all
you.
like I was scared of adding 2 inches. So two
Yeah,
inches of dirt and
it's
2 inches of
scary.
sand.
And it's scary.
Yeah, it's scary. It's next to my girl's toys. So the fish tank is right next to that, and it's
Yeah.
holding a lot of sand.
It looks
Yeah,
real good though.
it does. It looks great.
Yeah, he
Nice
has
to
a
get it
tank
done.
sitting on styrofoam. That's real helpful too.
Mm-hmm.
To keep
Yeah,
it level, yeah.
it's an easy knack. So it's easy to put it on styrofoam.
It keeps it level.
Yeah, I've got the potos going up.
All right.
Very
It's a
cool.
wonderful setup. That is.
Got
Do you
new
collect
plants,
your
so they are.
plants too?
Yeah, I don't know what kind of plants are. There's a pina fitada or something, I guess.
Are they collected wild collected
No,
plants?
no, no. I've just got them potted.
Oh, okay.
I have the other plants at my other house. So I've got like 6 tanks in my other house. So this is,
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah.
Well, we want to see those sometime.
Yeah. Here they are.
Just
The,
beautiful. Oh,
wow,
they are so
can you see
pretty.
them?
Yes.
I really love that sand.
Mm-hmm.
You,
It's it's all collected for the
Father
fish.
fish
I
jealous.
like
I've
the
bought
color.
nothing. I've
Like,
just bought these plants. The fish are all donations from my friends.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
That's sweet.
Now, Father
So
Fish,
if
if you could bag
nobody
up
wants a
that
fish, I
sand
am
and
there
brand it
to
with your
take it.
name.
yeah, the color and the texture are really excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very fine. Yeah,
it's
and the dark
gone.
brown is really nice.
It
Can you
is
see
beautiful.
me? It's stuck.
Love, lovely.
You have the
I,
water lowered a bit?
I have to go look on
Yeah,
my
I had
TV. I'll
to.
be right back. I
It's
want to see
stuck.
this on my
Can
big
you see me,
screen.
or is the video stuck?
No, it's not stuck.
It's
We're
stuck for
okay.
me. Oh.
We're getting flashes, but it's staying.
You just don't go too fast. When you go fast, it gets grainy. That
Yep,
was nice.
lost him. We lost him. Wow,
There you
very
go.
very nice. That's wonderful. Uh, if you let's see if he wants to come back up.
Well, that's nice. And he said it's all thanks to you, Father Fish, that he.
Well, I love it. There was I'm so impressed with the color and texture of that sand. He said it's river sand that he got out of his river.
That was worth the look on my television. I had to go check that
Oh, is that
out.
what you were doing?
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I see on this computer, it's kind of hard to see with my eyes gooping up. So I went over there and looked at the TV. Thank you so much, Sam. That was awesome.
Yeah, Sam Dev, that's wonderful.
I mean, absolutely wonderful.
I think it works better if you like move your camera real slow and then the signal can keep up a little better.
I've noticed that too. Well, I think that you should somehow get Sam to import you that fabulous river sand, and we will brand that as Father Fish Sand. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
From India.
Oh, Lee was born in India. That's neat.
There he is. He's back.
He's back.
Oh, there you are. Look at that. I love this. What is this twisty? Is that wood? That is really neat.
That's a root.
That's a root.
That's a root that I collected. It's so amazing.
It is.
Cool.
Oh wow, that is so cool. What kind of root is it? Just off of
I don't know. It was off the riverbed. It was a huge river. So the boulders were like all rounded.
That is really neat.
And is
stuck in between all the boulders. So that's why the contours that you see on the twigs, it's all the boulders. It's finding the crevices in the boulders. So it's weird.
Oh wow, yes. That's amazing. Oh, look at them swimming around. They're happy. They're like, we get to live with Sam.
Does it get very cold where you are?
That catfish is awesome.
Does it get very cold where you are?
Yeah, it's, how do you say? I don't know. I can go degrees Celsius. I don't know the Fahrenheit thing right now. It goes to 5 or 6 in the night.
Oh, goodness.
Degrees Celsius. How do you say it in Fahrenheit? I don't know.
I'll tell you. 41 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yep.
So it's not freezing, but it's cold.
It's cold. It's the winter season now. In the summer, it's quite hot. They are finding the new fish.
Yeah, the angelfish is like, what is that?
Okay. Yeah, I'll push off now. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you. Have a very blessed day. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mary. Thank you, Cassie. Bye.
Bye.
I love that catfish. That catfish is incredible.
Yeah.
Look at
I
him.
love you, Father Fish.
Love you too, Sam Dam.
We love you, Sam Dam.
Very
That
nice.
was a
Well
treat.
done.
Bye-bye.
What a treat. That was awesome.
Yeah, one dirty platy. That's what I was trying to get at earlier with Jack Russells. I think they don't make a good pet because they have a lot of energy and need that like chance to exercise. Because on Frasier, the Jack Russell was like in his lap all the time, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that was just because of the trainers that they had.
Now ours, we went through several before we got the right stock, and they were just as good as any other dog. They were a little yappy, but as far as the way they acted, they were very smart. And
Roman is talking about some plant that he brought back from a lake in Ontario.
Cabbage weed.
Yeah, 2 pieces of cabbage weed, which washed up on the beach. The leaves melted back, but new shoots are growing out of the stalk. And that's fairly typical with collected plants. I do that routinely, particularly with Calupa in coming off the Gulf in my salt tanks. By the way, we're going to do some salt stuff pretty soon here. We will have some salt videos. We're setting up new systems as we speak. So it's going to be it'll be interesting. We're going to be doing deep substrate salt aquariums that will allow you to set up a saltwater aquarium with minimal maintenance.
That's what Alan Tooth did, didn't he? Because I remember him saying he had put the blasting sand in his salt water, and I didn't know you could do that.
Absolutely.
He's got a beautiful tank.
Yep.
Hello, Mike Fritz. I've got a good video from PecTech on the Anoxic filtration system. Yes, there's Alan. I knew you were lurking still.
There he is, right. Mike Fritz talking about Anoxic filtration systems. There are people who use it and like it. I find that it doesn't do as much as the deep substrate does. The deep substrate takes care of nitrates and does a great deal more. The Anoxic is very effective as a way of controlling nitrates. Um, it does not do a lot of other things that the deep substrate does, so I choose to do that. But there are plenty of people who like the Anoxic approach. They use it, they do it, it works for them, and that's fine. You know, we're not about insisting on one system or another. Once a person gets past the basics and is able to get established, and that's really all I'm concerned about, is helping the newbie get started in a simple, duplicatable way. Look at this. What is Betsy
Well, I cleaned
bringing
out my
us here?
beta tank. Remember my beta that had dropsy?
Oh my goodness! Look at this. Yes.
So, yeah, but this from one plant went to, you know how it just goes on and on.
Wow.
So I brought it in, I cleaned it out because it did pass away.
Oh dear.
Yeah, about a month.
Oh,
ago.
wow.
I did about 10 months with dropsy.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
Well, you did well.
Yeah, so I'll let you plant them where you want to.
All right.
Or however, or do you want, I could just put them in a tank on the
Yeah,
top?
do, and just let them overflow.
Okay.
We've got some on the top like that are doing that. So find
find that tank.
another tank to put them in.
Okay,
That'd
perfect.
be super.
Wonderful. Okay.
I love it.
Bye, guys. Have a good day.
Bye, Betsy.
All right.
Bye, Betsy.
You'll be alone. I don't see Thomas yet. So.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Have you guys seen Father Fish's picture behind him in the evening?
Which one? The one that's right there behind the fish tank? Or
No,
The
it's
main picture.
the one in my room at home.
oh yeah, the one of you. That
Yeah.
was neat.
I
You
was
said you were
about it yesterday if they'd seen it and knew who it was.
didn't you say you were 20 years old?
Yeah, I brought it upward. I brought it forward a couple of days ago.
Does anyone else think Father Fish looked like Shia LaBeouf in his prime?
I can kind of see that.
I thought it was like Shia LaBeouf. I was like, who is that?
Yeah,
Did
we
you
all
look him up?
looked very different in our prime, didn't we?
Did you look him up yet to know who I was talking about?
No, let me do it. Spell buff.
It's a hard name. Let's see if I can find it.
LeBlanc. It's like not a French, but is it a French name? Okay.
Oh, SHIA and then LABEOUF.
BLABEOUF.
A very tall Shia LaBeouf.
Polished.
Hello, Yum Yum Pie. Haven't seen you in a while.
It really looks like Shia LaBeouf back there.
Oh, John Quinn, anybody got any advice about stopping my cherry shrimp breeding? Well,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, and after this, Mains, Tails, Furs, and Fins gonna have an after Father Fish party, and tonight her and Chubbs will be streaming as well. Are you going to be on there again?
I don't know.
Okay.
I stay up. It's hard for me to stay up late.
Chalupa.
Did you see it? Did you see him, Father Fish? Oh, here we go.
Oh, okay.
Not the ones with
not with the mustache. You need to find a younger picture.
Yeah, younger. Right there.
That one, the one where
that's like, I'm like, I swear it looks like him in the picture. So you have like a little resemblance there.
It's youth. That's all it is. It's just
no, the way you were posed. Like, looks like him. Come on, guys. Agree with
more so maybe.
Right there with the hair, because you had your hair like that. Anyways.
There he is. Right. Oh, mercy.
I don't know if anybody was looking at that picture, but I'm going, it really looks like him.
I don't know.
And then you said it was you. I was like, really? Oh, wow.
Well, why would I have such a picture on the wall of somebody else?
I don't know. That's why I was wondering that.
Goodness sakes. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's get something going here. Let's see. Let's go to this. And we'll go to this.
Yeah, you're going to have to ask him in the evening when he's on tonight to show you the picture. Again.
Yeah.
I tried to get on last night, but
Oh, yes, Alan. Yeah, 6 o'clock.
And Joey was there, so I felt like I didn't need to come on.
Yeah, Joey will be on with us this evening, and Marianne. So we will see you all at 6 o'clock. That'll be great fun. What shall we play? What do you like?
I don't know. Real quick, John Quinn wants to know how to stop his cherry shrimp from breeding.
How to stop him from breeding. Somebody smack him for
That's
me.
not usually a
I
problem.
must have had my mic muted. I think I just said that and started laughing.
Yeah,
You were saying the same thing?
Yeah.
Doesn't
Smack
they'll
him for me. Somebody whack him up.
John, you can just send them all to us, or you can get a little fish. No, they won't just stop breeding,
Yeah, the best
unfortunately.
way to do that is exactly right.
Send them my way.
Ship them out.
Because it's hard to
that'll
tell
solve
if they're
the
male or female unless they're buried up, right? Or is there?
Now,
I'm sure there's a way.
Midway Break video collection, is that the one
Oh,
with
Alan, thank you. Alan said lower the temperature.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Alan is a shrimp
cherry
expert.
shrimp, and my
I don't know
local
why
fish store
anybody would want to do that.
didn't have any. I was just trying to find some, and I couldn't get any.
These girls are not going to give up, I can tell.
No, we're done. That's it.
What do you the Midway Break video? Is that the one with the wonderful shoal song in it?
I can't remember. I think so.
Yes, it is.
That's it.
Okay, good. Here we go. Gonna sing the song here. wonderful day.
Y'all have a great day.
See you tonight at 6 o'clock.
All right.
Right here
Bye, Cassie. Have a
on
great
the Fish
day.
in the Evening. Bye, Cass.
Bye, Father
Mary.
Fish. Bye,
Bye,
guys.
everybody.
Bye, Lee.
Love you
Love
all.
you all. Good, how are you? We need to strap the barrels into the van today. We need to pull a bunch of stuff out to do it. Do it from the back if you want. Put them in the back rather than the side.